Hey guys, welcome back to the channel guys. It's your boy Sly Lancy, and in today's video of Sly Lancy in today's video of Sly Cooper, we're gonna be talking about my version of Sly 5. So I hope you guys are ready, because this is basically, to anybody who's been following the channel, they know about my comic series Sly Cooper, A Master Thief's End. This was basically my version of Sly 5. Now, due to a lack of motivation, I just have not been able to find the time or been able to finish this comic, and I'm just like, it's been bugging me for the longest time. I'd rather just give people the idea of what Sly 5 was supposed to end, or how it's supposed to end basically. So if you guys are ready, let's get into this video. Plus, I wanted to give a big shout out to Nicholas Grando and John Michael for suggesting this video. I'm going to try to do more shout outs in the futures, guys, so please just keep bugging me about it, and I'll get as many of you shouted out as possible whenever we do these videos. Sly 5, or in this case, Sly Cooper, A Master Thief's End. So, issue 1 is basically was supposed to be Sly gets lost in Egypt, then due to dehydration or traveling in the hot blazing sand and sun, Sly's about to pass out from dehydration, and we see this mysterious bird-like figure come across the area and sit down next to Sly, and he's looking at Sly, and just when you think that he's about to eat Sly, Sly wakes up in this dark cave, completely rehydrated and everything. We then learn that Sly Common is actually the one who helped Sly back to the lair. Now, how is this possible? Because we saw a giant bird, but we're not going to get into that just yet. So basically, Sly Common informs Sly of his history and how he came to be, and basically, the beginning of the Devious Raccoonist. This is all music to Sly's ear because it's like he's getting a free lecture about learning his family's history. And then we also learn about Sly Common's friend. And this friend was anything beyond any Sly fan or even Sly Cooper himself can comprehend. Clockwork? The story ends with Sly completely flabbergasted at this idea, and I'm sure the reader as well. Then we move to issue 2. Issue 2, we go back to modern day Paris, where we have, Bentley, Murray, and Carmelita all trying to figure out how to get Sly out of Egypt. They try interrogating Le Paradox, which does not help at all. And then Le Paradox says something about Carmelita's mother, which he gets the shit punched out of him. Then Carmelita, Bentley, and Murray decide that they need to refocus their efforts. Instead of trying to figure out where Sly is, go to the people who probably have an idea where Sly could be. So they took out Le Paradox. Now there's one person left, Penelope. And since Penelope is a highly wanted criminal, Carmelita enlists in the help of Bentley and Murray for the help, considering their history with the two, and how basically, Bentley and Murray are thieves, and they can know potentially what a thief thinks. And with this could grant Bentley and Murray pardons from the law, from Interpol. So Bentley refuses initially, before deciding to go through with it, along with Murray. And you can even include Dimitri too, because Dimitri is technically a main member of the Cooper gang now. But yeah, so after that, we see later in the night, a mysterious shadowy figure escapes from jail, and it's headed towards the Cooper gang's safe house. Penelope is at the safe house, and she's looking for anything to gain the edge on the Cooper gang. And just when she's looking around, she spots something that really captures her attention. Clockwork's eye. What? How could this mysterious artifact still be alive? I thought it was all destroyed back in Sly 2 Band of Thieves. We're going to talk about that later in this video. But in the meantime, now we transition from issue 2 to issue 3, where Dimitri walks into the safe house and Penelope has to hide quickly from him. Luckily, Dimitri doesn't see Penelope, and Dimitri goes on about his business, picking up some paperwork for Bentley so that they could go about trying to find Penelope. So, Dimitri leaves the safe house, and Penelope grabs Clockwork's eye and leaves the safe house as well. So now we're in Penelope's secret lab somewhere deep in Paris, and it is through, trying to hook up different devices and stuff that Penelope's trying to recreate the time machine in a way so that she could go back in time and stop Bentley from stopping her plans. And it's through using the Clockwork eye that Penelope indirectly actually manages to bring back a different character that no one thought would be possible to bring back. Constable Neela. That's right, you heard me right. Neela, the one who betrayed the Cooper gang and Interpol in Sly 2 and almost destroyed the world before bringing back Clockwork. Penelope loosely remembers Neela, at least through the stories of what Bentley had told her over the years. But yeah, it's through this that Penelope realizes that she may actually have a chance. And given Neela's amnesia right now, you know, Penelope truly believes that with her and Neela working together, they could easily get back at the Cooper gang and Interpol and rule the world together. We then move to issue 4, which talks about the origins of Clockwork. And basically, Sly learns that Clockwork is not as harsh or as cold as he seems, at least in his initial betrayal. So, what had happened basically was that Clockwork was left alone to fend for himself in the world. No one else to help him out except him. You know, no father, no mother, no siblings, no one. He had to figure out how to do things on his own, and then when he got to adulthood, he became friends with Sly in common, and the two would work together in pulling off different heists for not only themselves, but for the unfortunate as well. Sly is so taken aback by all this, but he knows he can't dwell on this forever, because right now, his main concern is just getting back home. Now, we pick up where I left off. The infamous comic that I should have had done by now, and still haven't been able to finish yet. Sly Cooper, issue number 5. So, in this particular comic, this was supposed to be the comic where Carmelita, Bentley, Murray, and Dimitri all meet up with Penelope. They find her, and then that's when they come across Neela once again. Much to the shock and ire of the Cooper gang and Carmelita. Murray attempts to get to Neela so he can kill her with his bare hands, given the fact that, you know, Neela basically is the reason why Bentley is crippled and why Murray was so mentally broken for so long. But then Penelope and Neela trap, you know, Carmelita, Bentley, Murray, and Dimitri all in the same cell. And just when Penelope thinks she finally has the edge, the unthinkable happens. But predictable, but unthinkable. Neela betrays Penelope and throws her in the cell along with the Cooper gang Carmelita. Because it turns out this whole time, Neela finally was able to capture all her memories back, and now she wants to take over the world for herself and rid the Cooper gang herself. However, Interpol agents have been waiting outside, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That's when Carmelita sends the notice and sends in her top agent, Nick the Hedgehog, to come in and help save the day. However, all of Neela's robots and stuff are, you know, they're all fighting all of Interpol's agents, and Neela manages to slip through the chaos. And Carmelita, Bentley, Murray, and Dimitri, and Penelope manage to break out of the cell. And due to the Interpol agents being overpowered, they all decide to escape through the sewer pipe, along with Nick following suit as well. It is through here that Penelope realizes her mistakes, and, you know, even though she still wants revenge on the Cooper gang, she wants to take out Neela first before they go back to business. Bentley obviously is annoyed at this. Carmelita wants to haul her in, but knows that without Penelope, they can't stop Neela. So now it's all the new plan of action is basically at hand. Stop Neela now before she destroys the whole world. We would then go into issue 6, where they're all traveling underneath the sewer pipe, you know, obviously frustrated, annoyed, knowing that, you know, life as they know is about to, you know, be destroyed, you know. And just when they're about to give up, Bentley brings out the Devious Raccoonist book, just to reminisce on his friendship with Sly. He turns to the page of Sly in common, and right as he does that, he notices something in the writing is being added. SBM, and a drawing of what looks like a cookie. This was the moment that Bentley knew exactly where Sly was. Sly was trapped in ancient Egypt. Sly, back in ancient Egypt, had written in the Devious Raccoonist a code or message that he knew only Bentley could figure out, which was the initials of all 3 of the names, along with a cookie to represent the cookie heist that they pulled off when they were kids. Bentley realizes this revelation, tells the others, and now they know how to get Sly back out of Egypt. but they have to pull off a couple of heists in order to get the parts that they need so that they can build the time machine necessary back at Bentley's place, just so they can get the time machine ready and bring Sly back home. So after a bit of chaos, and Sly obviously trying to, understand Clockwork a bit more before doing anything else, Bentley and Penelope managed to create the perfect time machine. Well, not perfect, it's enough to at least work for the time being. So they launch it, and they set the timeline for, ancient Egypt where Sly's at. And then back in ancient Egypt, Sly notices a portal that's coming through the Arpeggio's clock that was on the blimp that was destroyed. Sly notices this and then tells, Clockwork and Sly Common that he has to go, but that he appreciated all the help, And just right when Sly jumps into the portal, it closes, Clockwork and Sly Common say their goodbyes. Now Sly's traveling through time. As he's traveling through time, he's looking at the moment that everything fell apart for Clockwork, and he notices that Clockwork ended up almost dying trying to save Sly Common. And Sly Common thought that Clockwork had died, which is why he never went back to save him. And Clockwork did actually survive, but was hoping that Sly Common would save him. Sly Common never came, and so Sly Common ended up taking all the glory for himself, indirectly. And Clockwork would be angry at this, hoping one day to destroy the Coopers for good in the background. Also, while time traveling or surfing, Sly notices another thing that really captures his attention. He sees outside the house before his house got raided by the Fiendish Five. He notices a conversation happening between Clockwork and this small baboon-like creature, and he recognizes the baboon. It's Dr. M. And as it would turn out, Sly was overhearing the conversation a bit and saw that Clockwork and Dr. M tipped each other off. Dr. M tipped off where Sly's father's whereabouts was, and Clockwork would tip off to Dr. M where the Cooper vault was. And it was through that they both ended up getting what they wanted in the process. So Dr. M went to get the vault, and Clockwork gathered the Fiendish Five and raided Cooper's home, killing his father and his mother, and leaving Cooper to be orphaned for the rest of his life, supposedly. That revelation right there would low-key send Sly into tears, thus, adding a bit more depth and layer to the story that I think the series desperately needed. And Sly ends up back in the present day, and Bentley, Penelope, Carmelita, Murray, and Demetra are all looking onward at the time machine as the door opens and smoke comes out with a gleamery white light popping out of the machine. And just as they're all looking inside the machine hoping that it worked, it did. Sly is back in the present day and is here to save everybody. So now we move to issue number 7, Sly's back in time. Everybody runs up to Sly and tries to hug him, everyone except Penelope for obvious reasons, and Sly's literally taken aback by Penelope being there. But again, they're going to talk about the situation later. Right now, Bentley informs Sly of everything that's going on, and Sly's like music to his ears. So they all try to come up with the plan to stop Neela and save the world, and then decide the fate of Penelope. So it's through planning that Carmelita and Sly, in this particular comic, they both finally have a conversation about everything that's happened between where they started at and where they're at now. How Carmelita feels that, she knew Sly was lying to her, but she didn't want to believe it. How Sly regrets, leaving Carmelita in the dust like that. They both come to terms with the fact that, they both live different lifestyles. But, it's at this point where Sly and Carmelita are both willing to give up everything that they have in order to be with each other at this point. Carmelita wants to give up being a police officer to be with Sly, and Sly wants to give up being a thief to be with Carmelita. So if they all survive this is basically going to be the end game moment for both of them. So, after everything's been discussed and planned out, now we move to issue 8, The Darkest Hour. This is basically where all the action starts. They try to raid Neela's new hideout. All the fights are going on. Murray's ready to, knock some teeth out. Bentley's got his bombs ready. Penelope's got her bombs ready. It's an all-out duel basically. Between the six members of the Cooper gang that's still left versus Neela and her forces. And it's in this particular issue that I really wanted to talk about the fight scene that I had that was going to be perfect for this entire series. The bare knuckle brawl between Carmelita and Neela. This was the fight that I wanted to draw so bad, but just never found the time to do it. But basically these two were about to, go hand in hand with each other. The fight scene was basically supposed to be where Carmelita's ferociousness is enough to give her the edge in the first few minutes of the fight, and then due to Neela being crafty and clever and knowing how to break out of certain holds, manages to gain the upper edge on Carmelita afterwards. And it's only through Neela's monologuing that Carmelita is able to briefly stun Neela and capture her and defeat her, though it's very inconspicuous who actually won the fight. It's also through being captured that Neela finally breaks out her plan that in case she did get captured, that she brought back the one being that she know none of them would be able to stop. Clockwork. And not just any Clockwork, a bloodlusted Clockwork that came back to life because Neela had figured out how to bring back Clockwork using Penelope's time machine from a hideout that she raided. And everyone is beyond petrified of Clockwork, but they all still try to take him down. Carmelita uses her pistol, Murray tries to use different objects to throw at him, and Sly uses his cane, but nothing is working. Not even Bentley's bombs or Penelope's bombs. They all get hit, they all take devastating hits, which leaves some of them wounded really badly. Sly then tries to intervene once again and bring the fight to Clockwork, but Clockwork is just way too big and way too powerful for even Sly to handle, leaving Sly a bloodied mess and almost near death on the ground in the streets of Paris. And Sly in that particular moment starts reminiscing on everything that he went through in his life and knowing that he's this close to dying once again and not being able to live the life that he wanted to live with Carmelita after so long because time kept messing with him. This realization even brings a tear to Sly, knowing that he's about to get killed by Clockwork. And then, just out of nowhere, a bunch of time portals start opening up around Clockwork. And who comes out of every one of these time portals? Every single one of Sly Cooper's ancestors. From Bob Cooper, Tennessee Kid, Slight Common, Thaddeus, every single one of them. But the biggest one that comes to help, which is much to the shock of everyone except Bentley because he planned this out, Sly's father. Much to Sly's surprise, Sly's father is there to help him defeat Clockwork. Every single Cooper throughout history is there to defeat Clockwork. They all bring the fight to Clockwork, weakening the bird greatly, and Sly manages to get in a few hits of his own, laying devastating punches on the bird. Almost as if each punch was him releasing all the anger that he kept inside of him due to Clockwork ruining his life and childhood. But because he kept punching them, Sly was getting consumed by the hatred with each punch. And just when he's about to kill Clockwork, Carmelita of all people manages to snap Sly out of his rage before he kills Clockwork. Much to the surprise of everyone. Never seen Sly get so emotional before, which was a shock to everyone. Penelope then manages to open a time portal just to get Clockwork and Neela to get pushed in once again. Clockwork manages to go in just fine because he's so brutalized at this point that he's about to die anyway. And Neela, however, is unwilling to leave. So she tries one last heinous act. She tries to kill Bentley using one of her knives. And as she throws the knife to Bentley's direction, Penelope jumps in and takes the knife herself in the chest, impaling her in the heart. Neela laughs at this revelation before taking one major sucker punch by Murray, sending her through the oblivious space of time to be destroyed, never to be seen again. Penelope starts to bleed out, looking at Bentley, and they both share a tender conversation before Penelope dies from blood loss. It's through this sacrifice that Penelope has been redeemed of her actions in the past. Bentley becomes saddened over her death. Penelope gets a proper funeral. And then it's after this situation that everything basically goes back to normal. Well, a new normal, I would say. Everybody gives up their lifestyle from before. Bentley and Murray give up the life of crime to focus on themselves for a while. Dimitri goes back to being a celebrity underdive scuba diver. And Sly and Carmelita. Both of them retire from their line of work. And both of them get married and start a family and live happily ever after in retirement. With a bit of sadness to the story. And we learned that through the narrating that it's Sly, Bentley, and Carmelita telling their kids about the story of the Cooper gang and their history together. And that, my friends, was basically my version of Sly 5, or in this case, the script to what Sly Cooper, A Master Thief's End was gonna be, had I finished the comic series. Did you guys like this story? Did you hate it? There's a lot of stuff I know I probably messed up in, but this was basically just a summarization of what the story was gonna be. So, you know, again, let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. I'll get to them as quick as I can. I'll discuss it with you guys, you know. And as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in every single day to every one of my videos or the specific videos that you guys like, and I hope to see you guys next time. We're going to be covering a lot more different topics on this channel, so be wary. More comics coming, more think pieces coming, more dubs coming. Just be wary. We got content coming, guys.